Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, dear Dharma practitioners, in this spiritual practice, so you always try to gain many materials around you. Even though we have a lot of material help, it is finally, it's dependent according to your mental development. So when it comes to that mental development, the time we are spending in day-to-day life, the energy you put into your life, and mostly for living, and out of that living, you look for happiness and satisfaction, and out of that satisfaction, you look for development and the success, and out of that success, what you look for? Again, come back to this material world, or after the success, is there anything else that you want? Is there anything else you look for? So you have to question yourself, because if you look for only the material success or only the conventional development, then again and again you will repeat it, you will reach to that. Not only you, generations to generations, all these human civilizations reach to certain success. So you also have that capability. And before you die, you may reach to some success. And then you will hand over that to your children. And then when you die, you have another dream to become better with the material world. But according to this Buddha's teaching, that is not the purpose of the Dharma. Even though that you gain certain kind of success out of the material world, the ultimate goal is get out of this material world. That's mean your liberation. So then, out of your bodily, verbally, and mentally success, or the work or actions, if you again and again develop the material world, where are you going to end? Because that development itself maybe bring the success to you, and then you attach to it. And beyond that, you don't know anything. So that's why if you don't see the change, you're going to be with this conventional mindset. But once you able to understand the change, once you able to see the change within your success, how that happiness or how that success change, and that is where you can go beyond that success. So it is just itself as an idea you cannot do. For that you have to develop certain mental qualities. So it called spiritual powers, spiritual faculties. You have to develop it as a mental quality, and at the same time you have to develop it with the base, with the spiritual understanding. So here actually when it comes to the Buddhism, that there is no word for this spirit or the spiritual. Actually, it's just the pure organic mind, because there is no spirit exist unchangeable spirit. So that the out of the spirit the spirituality come, the development of your spirit. But when it come to the early Buddhism, there is no spirit, the unchangeable spirit. So whatever we talk about, the mainly pain, very plain mind, that's it. The nature of the mind, that's what we call as even the consciousness. So the mind is the chief, mind is the forerunner, mind is the creator. So what you think you become, it's very simple. But now what happened by the time, and as you know, any dharma by the time it get the cultural influence, traditional influence, and the language. So like that, from east to west when it came. So in the Western world, they used to talk about this word, the spirit, and especially after the Second World War, because there are a lot of people died, thousand people died, and suddenly in front of their parents, in front of brothers or the sister, in front of children, their parents died. And when they die, suddenly disappeared. When someone in front of you and suddenly disappear, look at nowadays, like this corona virus. And maybe people talk with you today and tomorrow they go to hospital and you cannot see anymore. So in your mind, it's always so kind of like that you have the image, and knowingly this person, what happened to this person? Because if that person got sick and you saw that few days stay with you, and then little by little if that person die, then you see it. But when the person suddenly disappear, you see it today and tomorrow maybe you're not going to see me. Then for your mind, it cannot handle what happened to this monk. So that is where the image of the person, and you take as the spirit. The image that you carry in you regarding someone else is the spirit. And then you can apply it to you also. And believing that person, the person I saw, the person I live with. So then it's very difficult to forget. We cannot forget like that. We no need to forget like that way. But what I'm telling, how this spirit word came to us. So now it is a kind of like we call it a spirit, and then the spirituality. So kind of like that. So anyhow, now we have this word. So the very nature of the Buddhism, it adapt to any culture, any tradition, it can adapt. So that's why when it go to China, it became Chinese Buddhism. When it go to Thailand, it became Thai, Burmese, Japanese, Zen, and then the Western. So then you have to know this background, because when we use these words, and sometimes when you go to sutras, there's nothing that you can find word related with the spirit. So this just, and when it comes to the early Buddhism, the very first 20 years of the Buddha's teaching, and just it's about just the mind. That's it. But nowadays in the language that we have, because when they translate the Tripitaka to English, what happened? They didn't have Pali word, any English word related to Pali. So it happened in London. in the this Pali text society, and they are the one who translated this. So what they did, they used the words from the Bible, and then they match certain words, and out of that words, that whatever they used for the church and the Bible, and they used the same words for the Tripitaka also. So that is how this kind of words start to came to us. So now people know only these words. So then we have to use that word. But at the same time, you have to remember the history, and you have then when you use this word, you're not going to bound to it. That's why you know what happened and how it happened. We cannot reject, because when someone else, when the newcomer come, suddenly we cannot tell, for there is no spirit. There's nothing to call. There's nothing called a spiritual. Then they cannot understand it. So then you have to go what you know. You have to use it, the all the resources what you know, to go to what you don't know. So that's how. So then that when it come to that development of your mind, these five spiritual powers, the now you know the what is the spiritual mean your inner development, the as a whole, your holistic development, not just one part. when 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 everything related to you, put it to blend and take as a one word, we call it spirit, it's spirituality. That is the development. So then when you use that, mainly remember, we talk about the mind, nothing else. So how you develop the mind? So you have to remember then, beyond the mind, there is nothing called spirit. So the very same nature, the mind, we use the word in the Western world, we use spirituality. So if somebody say spiritual development, then now you should know that's mean development of the mind, because there is nothing beyond the mind. There is nothing, any spirit, and related to the Buddha's teaching, related to the Vipassana. So then you should know that. And this is not for arguments. So this is not for any kind of criticism, just to know yourself. When somebody say, even ourselves, when we say, so the spiritual development or spiritual transformation or spiritual practice, you should know that's mean your mind. So then spiritual powers, spiritual faculties mean mental powers and mental faculties. So when it comes to that, you have to remember the quality that you develop in your mind become the best communication when it comes to this practice. Especially when you develop your mind as people, when you gather each other as a Sangha, or even when you go to the Buddha not going to see you through your body, not going to see you through your title that you hold, king or the beggar or the layperson or the monk or the man or the woman, not like that. So the mainly the Buddha will address according to these mental powers. So those are Saddha, Viriya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. Faith, energy, mindfulness, concentration, and the wisdom. Wisdom, concentration, mindfulness, energy, and faith. So remember, those are the five qualities that you need for yourself if you look for your mental development. So without this five, you cannot gain any kind of spiritual development or the mental development, or you cannot gain any kind of transformation, any kind of change to your life. So then when it comes to the faith, it is mostly you have to develop as a mental quality in day-to-day life. So mostly we have faith, we put the faith, we already have it, but mostly we have it for wrong reasons, for wrong places. So try to gather that the faith everywhere that you spend in at your house. So you put the faith that to this all the material things. That's why it is there. The trust, conviction. So, but when it comes to deeper in yourself, when you close your eyes, just when you become just by yourself, if you don't have any kind of higher purpose or higher quality to be with, then you are in danger. So that's why we say Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. So then yourself you have to remember in day-to-day life, even though you put the faith on this material world, and always remember, put the faith, the mental power, develop the faith with the Buddha and the Dhamma and the Sangha. Sangha means whoever practice this, because it is very important. Without this faith, you cannot move forward. The reason is this, maybe you listening. So when you listening to Dhamma, remember this very carefully. So maybe you listen to talks and you go to documentaries and you read books or like that. You do a lot of things. You like to learn. The thing is this, the power of the faith is this, that whoever the monk, even myself or any other monk, so it doesn't matter how big the monk, if that monk without any faith regarding the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, listen this very carefully. This is a kind of like a secret that you have to get. You know, like the movie called Secret. You know, the attraction. You know, you you bring the thing, whatever you want around it. So this is the secret with the Dhamma. If anybody say any sutra, even somebody appear like the Buddha and preach the Dhamma, if that person doesn't have the faith regarding the Buddha, you cannot learn anything from that person. Maybe you will listen hours to days to years, will keep listening, but you're not going to learn anything. There's nothing going to change inside you. So it's a both way. So whoever tell the Dhamma, preach the Dhamma, even when you have a discussion the Dhamma, you have to have the faith in your heart. And at the same time, if you listen with the faith, that is where your transformation happens. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. When you have that faith, because the faith, it's kind of like the magnet. When you have the faith, and even if any monks or anybody, whoever teach and look at nowadays, when it comes to meditation, you know, it's online courses, many courses that you can find. And people do many things. but still it never going to bring a good result to society, mostly. Why? Because they don't have the faith. And sometimes even they don't know who is the Buddha. They don't know what is the meaning of the meditation. And even some people don't know spirit and the mind is both the same. They think there is something beyond the mind. See? So then with that understanding, when the person says something, that person already in the wrong view, because that person think there is something, there higher spirit beyond the mind, and with that, when the person teach something, whoever listen, they cannot get the truth. So then yourself also the same. When you say even, so now bring how you can apply to day life. So as a husband, wife, children, parents, when you have a communication, remember this, you can use it today and you're going to get the result today. Then you will understand what is this mean. When you talk to your husband or wife, have the faith in your heart. This is my husband. This is my wife. Don't talk like an enemy. If you try to talk to other person like thinking this is an enemy, that whatever that you say, that person cannot get. And that's then it going to disturb to that person. Even for with the children and parents. As parents, maybe you try to teach a lot of things to your children. But if you have the whatever the, if you already condition your mind thinking, this child is very difficult to teach something or kind of like that, that child not going to get it. So then always remember yourself, when you have any communication, even your workplace, maybe you use very nice words, good environment, but if you deeply don't fix your mind, it's not going to become a good conversation. So this is the very simple way of that you can develop the faith regarding the conventional life. So see, it is a mental quality that you have to develop. Regarding the Buddha, so when you have the faith, so for that what you have to know? Know who is the Buddha. And you can read a lot of things nowadays. Read about him. And then you will recognize. And then you will see how he talk about the life. It is about you. And then you recognize what is the Dharma. So that will bring you to the path to practice. So that background you need. So you have to have the faith. So there was a man, and he used to live in far away in a village during Buddha's time. And he thought one day he wanted to go and see the Buddha. So what he did, he came. Just a poor man, maybe he walked. So then he came close by the river, and he need to cross the river. So that was the evening, and other side of the river the Buddha used to live. And then he was waiting and looking for a craft or the boat to cross the river, and he was waiting and sitting. Then there was a lady came and asked, "Oh brother, it looked like you are new to this area. Why you sitting here?" So then he told, "Oh, I'm from this village and coming all day, and I want to go and see the Buddha. I'm waiting for the boat come to this side." So then the lady told, "Oh brother, today you cannot cross the river, because today Buddha in the other side of the temple, today Buddha giving a sermon there. And everyone is already went there. And today you cannot cross the river. And even in the evening, and it was rain all day to the high mountain area, the water was so rough. And then he thought, oh, today the Buddha giving sermon, then I need to hear. And now he has no choice. There's no bridge to cross, no any craft or the boat to cross. So then what to do? Only way to swim. And he decided himself, I came far away to see the Buddha. So this now just the beyond the other side of the river. So maybe within another few hours, the Buddha are not going to preach. So only way, only option is jump into the river and swim. So what he did, he jumped to the river and start to cross the river with the faith. So the other side, the Buddha, and came to the preaching hall and everybody is there now. But Buddha didn't start the sermon. And Buddha was waiting. Buddha was, everybody knew there somebody need to come. That's why the Buddha waiting. So Buddha just asking some other question and having just the conversation, not the sermon. Then everybody knew Buddha waiting for someone. So then that person crossed the river and then ran to the temple and entered to the hall. And the Buddha looked at him and asked just the ordinary, had the conversation and how was the journey and kind of like that, and then start the sermon. See, that is the power of the faith. That is how wherever you go, when you develop the faith, it become powerful. And it has power to connect this nature. And even anywhere in this samsaric journey, when you see the enlightened master, when you see the Buddha never going to recognize you by your name, not by your gender, not by your position. He knows the faith, how much the faith that you develop. So then remember yourself. Get that identity to you. Develop the faith within yourself and look for the truth, not just the information. If you have hunger for information, nothing wrong with that. But remember, deeper in your heart, keep the hunger for the truth. And develop the faith regarding the truth. Then you will end in front of the Buddha. Or that become the invitation to Buddha to come to you. Or any enlightened master will appear to you. So that is how that this work. And the other one is the energy. So you put so much energy in day-to-day life. So be disciplined with the energy, the strength that you use. Don't use it for unnecessary things. Use it for always to cultivate yourself. Use it for the good things. And then you will see there are a lot of good opportunities will come to you. And the third one is the mindfulness. And whenever you have time, opportunity, concentrate your mind. And always be mindful with your body. That is the best tool that to develop your mind. Not other, we use other things, but always remember, use your body. Learn to use your body. Be mindful with your body. And that's going to be the greatest protection for you. And the concentration, samadhi or the tranquility state, one-pointedness, time to time, gather your whole awareness and stay with one mental object. Your breathing or the sensation, even the outside object, anything. You have to develop it. Because our mind itself scattered everywhere. Your energy already everywhere. You have mindfulness, you have concentration, it is everywhere. So what you have to do, you have to gather it, collect it. It called another way collective awareness. So that you have the awareness, what happened it everywhere. So gather it, collect it. And once you come to that level, what will happen? The next one is the wisdom or the panya. So that means there is something beyond that what we experience. So we experience things with the solid environment. But deeply, this everything change. So when the day you able to see the change through this solid environment, naturally the detachment happen. So this is the way that you should develop with your mind. This all the spiritual powers or the mental faculties, the spiritual faculties, and this is the identity that you should have in this samsaric journey wherever you go for yourself to introduce to any enlightened master. And it happened naturally, it happened invisibly, and you no need to carry it and take it out from the pocket. And wherever you are, even once you start to go walk, start toward that direction, even once you born somewhere, even when you are in the mother's womb, if you have these qualities, if the Buddha or the enlightened master or even the nature knows, you are waiting and you are coming and you are on the way. So then think about it. Even though we have this all other material things, even we use our life and we get the facilities out of this all, and we have the comfort out of this all, but in deeper in your heart, remember to nourish and cultivate these qualities. Why? Because finally this is going to become your turning point. So with that, I bless upon everyone. With this good practice, may all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you, may no difficulties come to you, may no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vajjantu sabbarogo vinassatu mate bhavattantarayo sukhi diga yuko bhava. Ittavata cha ammihi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe devanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idam me punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu. Sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless.